Hi, this is Herb Stevenson. We're going to be talking about the path to self-awareness, presence to create a sense of a model of what you're going to be going through as you try to develop more self-awareness of yourself, about life around you, and have the experience of your own presence. So these are short slides to give you a sense of that. These are little mini slideshows to try to support you. If you're interested in more of it, you can go to healingden.com, where we talk about healing presence in a very in-depth program for those from all walks of life, but more particularly from those in the healing arts. So if you're interested in that, please go to those places. So the path to self-awareness and presence, if we go off of the one before about awakening, it's a continuing process. So this evolved out of the last 40 years of my life, where I had a call, a deep desire for self-awareness. It was more like a deep desire for ending the pain. And at the time, up till about 38 or so, I dabbled in trying to understand spiritual things, but read a lot, but didn't do a daily practice of prayer, meditation, or even just trying to simply be present, which for me means just simply sitting in the moment. So over those years, I realized that something has to happen, and there has to be a commitment, which is a willingness to be and witness oneself. And the only way that can happen is you have to make a conscious choice and begin to make congruent choices. Now, conscious choices is the discipline and the willingness to practice on a regular basis, paying attention and witnessing yourself. A congruent choice is this congruent with who I really am? Is this what my heart speaks to? And now that creates two simultaneously paths. So with those choices, you create an evolving self that grows with more awareness, eliminating the fossilized thinking and processes of our life. And then you also have the emerging self, at which, when they combine together, creates the true self, where we have self-awareness and presence. These are very, very impactful, because then we begin to realize I feel more of myself when I am congruent. And at the same time, every time I make conscious choices and realize that's really not valid for me, it's not true for who I am or how I want to think, we begin to expand and eliminate habitualized thought patterns, things of that nature. So over the years, as I've been trying to understand that, I realized the conscious choice is basically the mind, and it's, do you want the mind to basically control you or not? So an evolving path typically has these 5 steps. They aren't necessarily sequential, but you generally go through all 5, which is you have an internal calling, or you can call it an awakening process, where your focused desire is to remember, awaken, and there's something that's driving inside you. So it's almost like a switch flips on. And when that happens, you begin to reveal and dissolve mental constructs, the way that you've been thinking your whole life up to this point. And it's very difficult in many respects, because it's like what's real and what's not. But as you do that, you begin to reframe your perceived reality, and you consistently live in the present moment. And as you can see, I put a spiral in there, because even though the illusion is this should be a straight line, it's not. It's an up and down process that evolves over time, until suddenly we have this new awareness, this new capacity to witness ourselves, capacity to stay more present, capacity to evolve, which can be a variety of things, which is less judgmentalness, less self-righteousness. We have a tendency to be, as a result of this, a capacity to literally begin to evolve. And that ties then to the next slide, which is we have congruent choices, which is where there's something emerging as we become more conscious. So as we take more control of our thought process and our awareness of this by witnessing ourselves and self-correcting, we begin to find a sense of trueness, a congruence to ourselves, and that's the emerging path. So we release imprints, interjects things we've swallowed as true from external authority, which is like, don't cross the street without looking both ways. And in today's environment, don't cross the street unless you're in a crosswalk and you look multiple times back and forth. And those are safe things. But there's other things we've been taught that aren't necessarily true. Capacities of that, racism and things of that nature, have no basis in reality. And they're just simply interjections and imprints that have been passed down. We develop an internal authority to create our true self with awareness. We develop deep commitment to be fully present. It just emerges is the best way to describe it. We release or reframe incongruent beliefs, values, thoughts, and we quiet the voice of fear and pain by finding the true voice within ourselves. We actually find our true self. Again, we have a spiral that's going on at the time. It's a progression. It's an up and downs. It'd be nice if it was simple and easy. There is no such thing. There is just consistently. So out of that, then we create a clear and deep sense of self. It's a wholeness. We begin to have a sense of a conscious presence about who we really are, and we feel unencumbered from the past. We understand the rules of society, but we don't necessarily live by all the rules of society. We find out that we can live by that which is within ourselves. So we have a sense of contentment. That's the biggest thing that most people ask me is, are you joyful? And I said, well, I have moments of joy, but I have general contentment on a day-to-day basis because I'm constantly seeking to have consistent and congruent choices. So presence in this many set of models requires conscious awareness of yourself and what's happening in your mind, body, emotions, and soul. It really is becoming a witness. And we can learn it through practicing witnessing and learning to be grounded in our bodies. Many times we have people who have a head dragging a body behind it and aren't using any of the impacts of our body we don't want to feel, and we need to be grounded in. So we can use healing presence exercises to provide different safe passages to experience presence, your presence, that of others. One of the things over the years that I've evolved into doing is I've been doing a variety of types of meditation, different types of mindfulness. I live on an 80-acre farm surrounded by parkland, and when I look out in the sky, I pause long enough with a deep breath and allow my eyes to actually open. And when I feel touched by the sky, that's a type of exercise I use to create healing presence. And it creates a sense of oneness within me as well as touches my heart. So eventually what happens when you go through this process, you'll eventually see your true self. You'll be able to witness yourself in each moment and just recognize that a whole lot of your life has been constructed to make you feel safe. But on the other side of it, now what it's doing, it is burdening you. So this is another one of our mini sessions. I hope it helps you. If you're interested in more information, you can go to healingpresence.com, or in this case, healingden.com is the actual program, and we have other things that are available to you. I appreciate your time and effort. It's Herb Stevenson. Bye.